So now that we finally have the full result of the mayoral election in New York, the Republicans are crying. Yes, cry more, Republicans. Yes, because they tried all their best. They even got the president to endorse the independent that is going up against Zohran Mamdani, and they still lost. And you're about to see the president react like a baby here. Watch this.
Talk to you about New York City real quick. You're a New Yorker. You famously kind of had a fight with Ed Koch back in the 70s and 80s as he was a mayor. He obviously wasn't a democratic socialist, as you call the mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani a communist. But is there any part of you that looks at Mamdani and says, it is good for you politically to have a big foil there that you're going to talk about for the next 3 years?
You know, I'm so torn because I would like to see the new mayor do well because I love New York. I really love New York. When I left New York for Washington, New York was doing really well, but there were some bad signs. The bad sign was a guy named de Blasio. So the signs of de Blasio, that was the beginning, and it was bad. This one, we're going to look. For 1,000 years, communism has not worked. It just, communism or the concept of communism has not worked. I tend to doubt it's going to work this time.
Did you see his victory speech?
It's literally never worked. Yeah,
I don't know what this obsession is with pointing out him being a socialist, him being a communist. It has nothing to do with what he's actually trying to advocate for. This guy talks about lowering house prices, lowering grocery prices, trying to get healthcare more affordable, and trying to get free buses for people of New York. None of these are communists, okay? It doesn't take a mayor to impose communism on a country. It typically takes a group of like powerful people like the president, like people in the legislative branch, like people in the Supreme Court. These are the people that have power to impose communism on your country. You should have no fear of the mayor imposing communism. He's a mayor. You're the president. He doesn't have the power to do that. And also, whatever he is actually advocating for is not communism. Trying to lower prices is not communism. Trying to get free buses is not communism. It's not socialism, okay? He doesn't know what these words actually mean. That's obviously why he's trying to make it seem like this person is an ideological enemy to the United States. Even if he is a communist, even if he is a socialist, what he's advocating for are not communist or socialist policies. They literally aren't. They're literally normal basic stuff like reducing prices for normal everyday people. That's what they are.
thought it was a very angry speech, certainly angry toward me, and I think he should be very nice to me. You know, I'm the one that sort of has to approve a lot of things coming to him, so he's off to a bad start.
At one point he says, turn the volume up.
So hear me, President Trump, when I say this. To get to any of us, you will have to get through all of us.
How do you respond to that? Does that affect anything you're going to do?
It's a very dangerous statement for him to make, actually. And, you know, you talk about danger. I think it's a very dangerous statement for him to make. He has to be a little bit respectful of Washington because if he's not, he doesn't have a chance of succeeding. And I want to make him succeed. I want to make the city succeed. I don't want to make him succeed. I want to make the city succeed, and we'll see what happens.
Did you see reaching out to him?
I would say he should reach out to us, really. I think he should reach out. Right. I'm here. We'll see what happens, but I would think that it would be more appropriate for him to reach out to us.
So,
let's be honest. He doesn't want him to succeed, okay? Because if New York succeeds, then that is on Zohran Mamdani. Everyone would look at, oh, the new mayor made New York succeed. So either way, if Zohran Mamdani succeeds, then New York succeeds. But if New York was to succeed, then people obviously will point to the new mayor being the one that instigated the success for the New York citizens, right? He doesn't want that. He originally claimed that he would try to deport him or something. Let's be honest, you do not want this guy to succeed. Okay, that's a lie. You absolutely do not want him to succeed, and you don't want the city to succeed. Because if New York was to succeed and get better, people will look at the mayor being the one that instigated that success, which will make you look bad because you hate him, you hate what he stands for because he's a communist, he's a socialist, whatever ideological differences you have, you don't want this guy to succeed. We can all see that. So going from the president to one of his biggest advocates in Ben Shapiro, he points out a few things here and says a few things that I actually believe is borderline delusional. And there is actually something important that's actually a takeaway here. There seems to be a fear-mongering being built in the mind of all these Republicans. And that's very surprising because I thought Democrats would take this far more seriously than Republicans will. But they seem to actually believe this is like end times for them. Watch this.
I've been receiving texts all day long from friends who live here, Republicans and Democrats, saying, do I need to leave the city because I'm so concerned about the tenor of Mamdani and what he's going to do next. Now, honestly, the best hope for Mamdani is that the city council stopped him from doing many of the things that he wants to do, because if he were actually able to implement many of his plans, it would make him more unpopular. But I think that, as you say, it was an outrage candidacy. I think that because everybody is now in the business of humoring people's outrage and then telling them that only if they are given outsized power will that outrage be alleviated in some way. Because of that, people are bouncing back and forth, because the truth is that most of the problems in people's lives in a free country like the United States are actually not solvable by government. Most problems in individuals' lives are mostly solvable by them. And there are obviously problems that need to be handled by inflation would be a problem that needs to be handled by the government. But when it comes to the idea that pretty much all the wrongs in your life can be solved by the government, which is something Mamdani literally said on the stage last night. He said there's no problem too big for government and no problem too small for government to care about it. That should be terrifying to anybody who has any familiarity with totalitarian systems.
How in the world is that totalitarianism? These people are crazy. This guy is just a mayor, by the way, just to make it clear. He isn't a president. God forbid he becomes a president. Can you just imagine? What if he's only a mayor? At the end of the day, he's only a mayor. He isn't a vice president. He's just a bloody mayor. He isn't in the Supreme Court. What if this guy was actually the president? Imagine if he actually just won an election to be the president of the United States. What would these people actually be saying right now? What would they actually be saying? They'll probably have to leave the country at this point. Or maybe there will be like a civil war or something. Because they're making it seem like this guy can just come in, be the mayor of New York, and impose communism and socialism and totalitarianism all over the whole city or the whole country. That doesn't even make sense. How can you become a totalitarian in a city that's part of another country when there's a president that probably has a rule over you in the first place? What is this level of fear mongering between these people? He's just a normal guy trying to make the city better for people, reduce prices, free buses, reduce healthcare costs, and also reduce how much it is that you have to pay for housing. That's it, okay? That's the main policies this guy is striving for. Reduce also grocery prices. Why is this totalitarianism for you? Just because he believes the government can intervene and help people, how is that totalitarianism? Also, lastly, if you're someone that believes whatever this guy is advocating for is not good for New York, you want to leave, just leave. It's fine. You have the freedom of movement to be able to go to wherever the hell you want. If you believe in the fear mongering that wanted to reduce grocery prices is bad, wanted to reduce housing cost is bad and totalitarianism, you're free to go wherever the hell you want. That's what America, that's what makes America great. You have the choices to be able to go wherever you want. It's not totalitarianism, it's freedom of choice. But that's just my thoughts. If you're new around there, it would be massively appreciated if you drop a like on the video and also sub to the channel.